Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Formula One podcast, straight to the apex. The boys are back, and I'm reliably informed, not just the boys are back, special guests. I know, special guests. Well, this is exciting. Not going to lie, I'm excited. Before we get into the excitement, please consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Obviously the biggest one on the list is sharing the podcast around. Word of mouth is a fantastic thing for podcasting, and it means a lot to us if maybe you've got a Formula One fan in your life. You're like, hey, check this out. You might like it. Right, enough from me. Let's hear from these guys. Here we go. This is CookieCast. Straight to the apex.
Hello and welcome to Season 4, Episode 2 of Straight to the Apex. Listeners won't know anything's different. Watchers, if we've got some watchers, will notice there's another screen. We've got 4 screens on tonight. Joining me as always is my co-hosts Tony Rawson and James Stainforth.
Hiya.
Hi.
And also joining us, and I did tease it, I said we'd do a part 2. It's took a while, is Anna and Dean.
Hi, guys.
Before I get the podcast started, I feel like it's only right that I join.
I thought he was going to apologise for being the one who was going to turn up to the podcast late.
Yeah, I was watching Hull City, and I also had internet issues. And for once, I was late, and it wasn't Tony.
No, I was ready.
Finally.
Look how smug he is, just sat there going, I was
I know.
ready.
The one time, I mean, he's showing off because we've got guests on.
Yeah, that's how ready I was,
Yeah. You two won't know, but we are literally always waiting about 10 minutes for Tony, and he's either eating, drinking, or he's not in. So it's an absolute miracle.
Product placement of some like takeaway or fast food chain or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So we'll start, before we talk about this season, we'll start with last season. So 2 of the people on this podcast went to the last race of the year in Abu Dhabi. So you two, how was it?
Absolutely fantastic, to be honest with you. Where do you start? The weather was great. The Grand Prix was great. The venue was great. So, it's absolutely fantastic. Certainly the best one we've been to so far. Definitely.
Right. Good.
You've been to a few, haven't you?
What was that, sorry?
You've been to a few, haven't you?
Yeah, we've done well, to be honest, so far, haven't we? Yeah, we've ticked a couple off. Hopefully, maybe we've got Silverstone again this year, and hopefully maybe try and get another one in the bag if we can. Just dependent on time.
Where are you aiming for it? Have you got a track in mind, or is it just kind of
Monza is on the cards potentially? We're just looking at logistics to get there because the flights are so expensive. So we're thinking of driving, driving down there, and making a bit of a road trip as well at the same time.
Nice,
which would be nice.
Nice.
Did you sell it to Anna that way by saying, imagine all the vineyards we could drive by, Anna?
A couple of glasses of Sauvignon on the way down. Don't condone drink driving.
Look at this. There's a Formula One race.
How did that get here?
All I've got is this T-shirt.
Pizza, wine, pasta, Formula One. Sounds like a good weekend to me.
And Christian Horner for Anna, so I mean, win-win.
Yeah, Mr. Horny Pants.
I think it's Horn Dog, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just Horn Dog, yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, obviously you two will have heard that Anna is a Christian Horner and Red Bull fan. And a Max fan.
Yeah. Didn't like you at first, not going to lie. When I listened to that episode, at first I was listening to it and I'm like, who the fuck are these two? Have we just been like, And then it was like, yeah, I'm a massive Red Bull fan. I'm like, oh Jesus, what the hell? No.
Yeah,
Talking like,
I feel the same way, mate.
these two are all right, and yeah.
I like to be controversial.
Well, that's it. You are surrounded by, 4 of the biggest Ferrari fans going. I mean, we've all been Ferrari fans, haven't we, boys? Like, all the time. All the time.
Absolutely.
Why do I feel like you've been Hamilton fans all the time?
Because we have. Yeah. I said I wasn't going to. I think I used to work with a guy. He's a big Ferrari fan. And I remember saying to him years ago, I will never support Ferrari. Rah, rah, rah. And then he was the first one to text me when Hamilton signed. I went, so? I went, yeah.
It's the only thing I don't get with this sport, though, people. Like, in football, say, for example, Cristiano Ronaldo moves to a different team. You don't support that team. Whereas, like, in Formula One, I never really understand why. My philosophy is that's your team and that's your team no matter what. I know give or take teams buy over and change names and stuff, but yeah, I'm not accepting the Hamilton Ferrari fans, to be honest with you.
No, that's a fair shout. Yeah, everyone who supported David Beckham as a kid, they didn't stop supporting Man United when he left and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand you having a soft spot for a driver, but I mean, I love Kimi, but I certainly didn't follow Alfa Romeo.
Well, why not? I mean, what a successful team. I totally get it. It is a bit strange. I mean, yeah, I can't explain myself. I can't condone my actions. All I can do is apologise. I don't like Lewis the person. I'm going to categorically say that. I think I've said it before. The driver, yeah. The person and what he stands for in his lifestyle, probably not. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It is weird. I mean, Tony's a whatever cap he buys this week fan. He's got Aston Martin. He's got a Senna cap. He's got a couple of Mercedes caps. What is it this week, Tony?
No cap really, because I don't actually know who. I don't know. I've watched a bit of Drive to Survive, and like you touch on there, I don't know. Lewis is, I don't know. It's kind of pissed me off a little bit. It's rubbed me up the wrong way, and I don't want to say it. Well, I am going to say it. It's a bit of a bombshell, but I feel like George Russell's really warming to me.
You fuck right.
What?
Really boring.
Warming. Like
warming. Oh, no,
yeah.
I don't agree with that one. I thought boring. I would have agreed.
Yeah,
No,
boring, definitely. Have we all watched Drive to Survive or some of it?
I watched 6 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, we just finished the last one last night, so it wasn't bad actually. It's a bit cheesy in places. You've got to kind of siphon through. They always make up something or make up a rivalry, but I'd say a good 90% of it was spot on, to be honest with you.
They did mark up the draft. I think it was the McLaren episode, and you saw the Miami race, and then it goes into the green room at the end. And it's really funny because you're seeing images of Norris and he stood there, he's having a sip of water and he's got a hat on that says Miami and all of this kind of stuff. And then the camera pans over to Verstappen, who sat there having a sip of water, but his hat says Zandvoort. It's like,
yeah,
okay.
It's like when Russell won at Spa, but then they took it off him, didn't they? They didn't go over that.
No, I think there was quite a lot of things that we said last year on the podcast that'll be good on Drive to Survive, and I haven't seen any of them.
I mean, I don't want to give no spoilers or anything, but not much was mentioned about Newey. I thought that might have been a little bit more.
See, I ain't got all the way through, but I said it last night to Charlie, and said it's really weird that nothing has been said about Newey. All I saw of Newey was on the Red Bull episode. When he got to the WhatsApp bit and everyone's picking up the phone and hearing all the WhatsApp notifications, and then it goes to Horner and his head is in his hands. But Newey's kind of like sat there pretending not to notice anything, and he's just looking around all sheepish, like, oh, I wonder what's happening here. It's like,
just before the camera panned on him, he's the one that pressed send. And I went, oh no, I've sent it. Sorry.
I know you're a massive Christian Horndog fan. Jerry did look very uncomfortable every time
She did. We thought that it was very put on the whole time. Like it was, we are holding hands. We are a team. We're still standing against it. But you could just tell that she wasn't happy at all.
Yeah, all the FaceTiming and all the "I love you, I love you, I love you."
It's a bit too much, to be honest.
It's too try hard for definite.
Oh, it was for the cameras, definitely. But going back to George, are you just saying it to wind us up, Tony? Because the Lewis Hamilton Ferrari episode, why was it about George Russell? It was like Lewis Hamilton signed for Ferrari, George the team leader, George this, Toto doesn't know to choose. Why was it more about George? Oh, don't you dare turn into a George Russell fan.
He's going to put on a blue cap right now, isn't he, as well?
He is.
I like him. I actually think he's a decent guy. He's a nice guy.
I don't believe you. I just don't believe.
I think me and him have a lot in common. To be honest, I think we do. So. Silence. I felt sorry for him when he overheated. That was. I got a little bit tearful.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. That's the only ounce of sympathy you'll ever get from me was that one when he looked like he was about to pass out. But Manus, that is probably the most boring, arrogant person I've ever met. Well, not met. Wouldn't want to meet him, but seen for sure. Yeah.
Oh, Tony, you are very similar.
Exactly. I mean,
can we get rid of Tony and keep Dean?
Do that again.
Can we get rid of Tony and keep Dean?
Yes,
fine. I'll leave. I'm done.
5 minutes late every week. Have a portion of chips or a cheeseburger from one of the fast food chains, and you've got it down to a T.
Yeah, absolutely.
He won't be able to handle you. He won't be able to handle all you two. Never.
Well,
every week.
We've
I'll just do a special guest cameo every now and then.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just bin Tony off every now and again and replace you, and we might actually talk about Formula One, not KFC or Burger King or other subjects that will remain off this podcast because you two are being on your best behaviour, i.e., certain young girls that went missing years ago in Portugal. We're not mentioning. We're not mentioning her.
Who? Who's that?
Who am I on about? I don't know. Look how gutty it is because I've met.
I never mentioned anything about it. Never even dropped in. And you go and drop the massivest. Oh, mate.
Always goes off the rails, this kind of podcast. I don't want to be part of it.
We've got all giddy, and I forgot to thank Cookie Cast and Andy. So, Andy, I do apologise. Thank you. Thanks for having us. Thanks for putting up with us free. At least we've got some sensible people on this week to kind of rein us in and talk shop. So, news. Have we got any news to break? The season starts this Sunday. So
I'm gonna beat Tony. Oscar Piastri's signed an extended contract. Yeah, fuck you, Tony. Yeah,
I've got loads. I've actually got loads.
Right, go for it.
Right then, first thing.
Lewis Hamilton's gone to Ferrari.
Dull FC Drew. That's the first thing. Get that out of the way. Charles, there's rumours that Charles was faster than Lewis. These are also rumours that Lewis is kind of playing it. Is he playing it down or is he not playing it down? Or it's okay, but it's a good car. All that jargon and shit. Anyway, next thing, FIA boss drops shock V10 engine revival him. Anybody heard that? What nobody fucking likes him anyway. He's out the door. He's probably just saying shit now just to try and get fans. I can't see it. Can you guys? It would be good, amazing, but I just can't see it.
It would be. Well, if they made some room by getting rid of like the energy recovery system and stuff like that, and bits and bobs, you could maybe back, and if you had some form of sustainable fuel, then why couldn't you go back to a sustainable V10 engine? I mean, I think F1's in that category, of innovation and stuff, and why not throw a curveball and bring back what Formula One is, as good as it is right now, and it'll always remain to be good, but Yeah, I hope it's true. When I saw it come out, kind of thought, bloody hell, that'd be absolutely fantastic. That going back into the past.
I mean, I totally agree. Like, I went to, I'm not just dropping it in there. I went to Mercedes World a couple of weeks ago, and they had clang.
He says with his Ferrari hat on.
As a Ferrari
I was going to say, yeah, fucking hell.
I didn't go in my Ferrari hat. I wish I'd have known now. I'd have bought Tony some George merch when I was there, but I didn't know. But no, what I was going to say was they had Lewis's first McLaren there, and then they had George's latest Mercedes, and the size difference to the cars is absolutely gigantic. And it's like you say, they've got a 1.6 engine, yet it's all the hybrid batteries, turbos. And I can kind of see now why Monaco's a struggle, because honestly, it was absolutely colossal, the size difference in them.
They're about 2 meters wide and about 5 meters long.
Yeah.
Take.
I mean, you guys will have seen in Abu Dhabi, like, because that's a street circuit. Like, the cars, they're a joke, aren't they? They're so big.
Yeah. I mean, they're oversized for certain tracks. Obviously, Monaco 1,000,000%. Hence the reason why they're trying to bring another pit stop in out there. Or I don't know if it's been fully confirmed yet. To try and spice that, because that's got no overtaking whatsoever. But yeah, they are getting stupidly big. Far too big to what there was 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's just the more and more street tracks that come on, like the calendar, say, for example, if Madrid does, then what's it going to turn out to be like? Because there's only so much width the street track has.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big believer of the bigger the better, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Carry on, Tony.
FIA confirmed.
In some context, yeah.
The World Motorsport Council has voted in favour of the changes to the iconic race of Monaco and the 2 pit stop mandatory. Will it happen? Might do. I don't know. Like you say, we'll know nearer the time. We'll know nearer the time. What else we got? Susie Wolff potentially as an FIA president.
That can't happen. That can't happen.
No, it can't.
Conflict of interest. Surely, isn't it?
2 times over at least. What's the next bit of news? Mummy Pig from Peppa Pig is having a kid. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. What else is there? Oh, massive news that the FIA and Formula One can confirm that the following completion of the respective sporting, technical and commercial assessments, the application by General Motors and TWG Motorsports to bring a Cadillac team to the FIA Formula One Championship from 2026 has finally been approved. So we'll have 11 teams in 2026.
Isn't Cadillac just Andretti but covered under a Cadillac cover?
Yes.
Yeah.
But not it's Andretti Motorsport, isn't it? But just with the commercialisation of having a Cadillac team inside of it, that's effectively what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. He wasn't allowed in as Andretti Motorsport. However, put a Cadillac badge on the front and you just hide in like an office somewhere and, oh, look, you've got a new team. It's very, very strange what's going on.
Back up. Yeah.
It is good to have an 11th team back in it again, though, because, I mean, the last one was Manor, wasn't it? Was that 2016, 2017? Manor?
Yeah, about 2016.
Was it Pascal Wehrlein and somebody else? Well, it'd be good to have an 11th team, spices it up a little bit, more jeopardy.
As long as they don't get Logan Sargent driving for them, I mean, they'll be all right.
Well, supposedly what they want is they want a seasoned driver, which could be Bottas, but they do want an American, which maybe Logan, or they'll probably drag somebody out of IndyCar, won't they?
Yeah,
probably. I mean, because if they get Logan Sargent, they'll need to start making parts for that car now because they'll need them. I mean, that was on Drive to Survive, wasn't it? I mean, crash.
Bloody idiots. They'll watch the Formula One race later on and they'll be like, we need Brad Pitt in the car. Let's get Brad Pitt.
They will.
Mate, You know what I mean? You're right there. You are right. Yeah. Him or Mark Wahlberg or something like that.
They're definitely going to do some mad shit, aren't they? Like lots of American mad shit. Like the sponsors will be like weird. They'll try loads of different promo stuff all the way throughout the season. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's good for the sport. Like you say, 11 teams. I think it's great. Obviously, they've sorted their money issues out. Christian Horney was on there, saying, "Well, you best not take our share." So they've obviously sorted all that out. It is good. Get 2 more drivers, 2 more seats in there.
I think we need to make a rule though that if anybody buys merch for that team, you are straight off the podcast, like straight off the podcast. Like
you're going to be the first one.
I'm not.
Literally, you're going to be the first one.
Buying.
You'll watch the
General Motors.
You'll look like Joey in that episode of Friends. In Cadillac.
Yeah. Like the Porsche.
Yeah. Do you know what happened? Lewis will sign for him. So we've all got
never. And Mark will buy it.
I'll buy it. I mean. Yeah.
Oh. Moving on.
The Cadillac will only be decent if it turns left anyways, won't it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It'll just it's gonna be. Aston Martin and Adrian Newey has started his tenure. Supposedly, he's set up a place to sleep at the factory, which I thought was interesting. It's come at his own request. Yeah, he's got a lot of fucking work to do, and especially after fucking testing, he's got a lot of fucking work to do.
Do you see Lance Stroll? Do you see Lance Stroll in Sector 2 trying to turn left and he was just going straight?
No.
He wasn't very well. Is what I've heard from my mate Lawrence. He said it's not very well. He's a poorly boy.
Does he ever look very well? He looks like he's not the sharpest knife.
Oh, he's been partying. He's just been fucking partying. Well, that's what he's been doing.
We discussed this on the first episode. Did you watch the F1 launch show? And it was like he looked like he was a fan that won a competition to stand next to Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, real overwhelmed.
Awkward.
What did you think to everybody booing Red Bull on that?
Oh, I thought it was quite hilarious.
No comment.
Red Bull knew that was coming.
I felt bad for Max.
By the extendedly boring video of the cars driving around London and stuff and whatever, you could tell they wanted as little time on that stage as possible.
And the fact that neither driver got a microphone, I think they probably were warned. I mean, what was the biggest boo, them or the FIA? It was quite a close call, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, to be honest with you. Yeah, it was quite a close call. I mean, to be fair to Horner, though, I mean, he took it well.
Yeah, he's used to it by now.
I mean, if I had his money and whatnot, and it is, in his lifestyle, then yeah.
He wouldn't go around it.
I mean, James just wants his wife. That's all he wants.
Bit Jerry.
Yeah.
Is it because she was a Spice Girl?
You've called her other things.
Can't go into it anymore. A little bit off the F1 topic. Amazon's bought the 007 franchise for $1 billion. Let's find out what happens there. Will Aston Martin still make an appearance? Maybe. Don't know. Lance Stroll might. Red Bull has filed an official complaint with the FIA against McLaren and Ferrari regarding their use of flexi wings following concerns raised by technical director Pierre Wack during pre-season testing. That is his name. I'm not making that up.
Pierre Wack. Okay.
It emerged last year and it focuses on the flexibility of the front and rear wings that could potentially breach the F1 regulations. The FIA is set to inspect both teams' practices with new camera and deflection tests being introduced to monitor compliance in 2025. Thoughts?
Red
They'll
Bull.
all be enough, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are they?
The front wing and rear wing. We suppose in McLaren have got like a bloody second hull in their rear wing, haven't they? On the sides of them or something to create that extra little bit of DRS.
Yeah,
Not going for an opening. They're all after, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they had some extra testing to the FIA end of last season, and it feels like they've just took them tests and gone, right, okay, we're going to bend the rules again. So, yeah, apparently the McLaren is looking fast, but it's also borderline breaking the rules again. So
yeah. I think one of the camera angles on testing, you could see the front wing under acceleration was going, the face was somewhat opening up a little bit and under braking, lifting to create the drag. But yeah, I mean, they'll all be at it somewhere or another. Won't they? They're all pushing the boundaries.
I mean, every team has got someone who goes through that rule book with a fine-tooth comb. And I think I've said it before. They have someone like me who goes through the rules and finds out the exact wording because that's where your loophole is. It's like you just said there, borderline. It might be borderline, but it's borderline, so it's not breaking the rules.
No.
It's close.
And then all the FIA do is put an amendment out and say, actually, it's breaking the rules now. And they say, right, okay, where's the next hole? That's all they do. Like you say, every team does.
They'll keep that wing. If there is something wrong with the wing, until they get told to take it off, they will use it. And they will have the hopes of, let's see if we've done what Red Bull did last year and cause enough damage in the first few races where we've pretty much got it in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was like the double diffuser, wasn't it, with Braun and stuff there, found a loophole, how you interpret and this, that, and the other, and, I mean, what was it, Mercedes with DAS as well, with the DAS system?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, and they had, was it the F duct as well?
Yeah.
McLaren or Mercedes, wasn't it? They had the F duct on, and it was like their driver's knee was covering a hole in the cockpit. And like you say, they've all got it. I mean, Red Bull have been, what was theirs? Was it independent braking or something? With the
that's right. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
All that low everything last year, but
like you say, they're all going to
in the wheels. So when the wheels had stopped, they're trying to keep going and actually cool the brakes down quicker.
They're all going to do.
You just go pure Ferrari and just dodge a few little sensors, and then your engine's absolutely rapido.
Exactly. Our team can do anything, Dean, can't they? They can break both.
The Italian stallion.
Exactly. Anything else, Tone?
Anything else? I don't think so. I've just got lots of comments about drivers, which we'll probably touch on in the next section.
I've got Jamie Chadwick has joined the Sky Sports F1 team for the season. Looks like Danica Patrick's still on there, looking at the photos of all the presenters. Johnny Herbert's gone, though, which is a bit of a shame. And Damon's gone as well, hasn't he? So Damon Hill's not commentating this year.
I read an article today about that. For they want younger faces, don't they? Or more work. But that's the Sky Sports in it for you.
Well, yeah. As long as Ted's still there, that's fine by me. He was still on there. Former Red Bull sporting director Jonathan Wheatley starts work as Sauber's new team principal on April the 1st. Obviously, James mentioned Oscar Piastri's deal. The wording of the deal was very odd. It's until at least 2028. What do you mean by at least? So has he signed 3 years, 4 years, multi-year?
I would imagine it's a 5-year deal with a 3-year get out.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. If McLaren had gone backwards, I bet you we've been such about property. I agree with that. If McLaren had gone backwards in 3 years, he's got the option to bail, hasn't he, and not overly commit.
Yeah, he's stuck in until 28. But if neither party are happy after 28, they can part ways, and there's no breach of the contract. I would think.
I can see Piastri leaving McLaren if they do. We was on about this when we were watching Drive to Survive. Yeah. Something about Piastri, he's I think he'll have Norris. Maybe not this year, but certainly next year. And I don't know. Say, for example, Red Bull turn it on and Max moves somewhere else. I think Piastri's got that type of character and persona as a Max and as a winner.
And when they asked him, he didn't even hesitate, did he? They just went, "Who would you have?" He just went Piastri, Oscar straight away.
Yeah.
I think he's my dark horse. I think, like obviously we're gonna after the break. What we'll do is we've all got a couple of teams each to talk about briefly. But I think he's my dark horse because obviously on Drive to Survive and last year it was his. He's just getting into the groove and learning a full season. He's now done that. If McLaren have got a good car, I think he'll take it to Norris. And then what do McLaren do? Because if he all of a sudden he's winning every race or they're battling again like they did the other, in Drive to Survive as it showed, and he just sends one up the inside and he's like, I couldn't give a fuck about you. What they're gonna do?
I honestly, I don't think we'll have anything like that. I think Zach Brown made a couple of comments throughout that episode where it's like, we've learned, we've got to keep learning. And yes, they did bloody well last season. I'm never going to take that away. They had a phenomenal season. And I think it was a massive learning curve. And, they won't be like, we'll just let them race and, we've got 2 number 1 drives and all that kind of stuff. I think they'll do something similar to what Mercedes used to do with like Hamilton and Bottas and stuff like that, where it's like, you know what, you can both go for it, but as soon as one of you's got contention, that's your P1.
Yeah.
What contention for what? For the race or for in the driver standings?
Standings.
Well, they did do that. Well, McLaren did have that though, didn't they? At Hungary, then there was on about papaya rules, and then I don't know. I felt like Norris could have given it to Verstappen more in that league if McLaren didn't cock about so much around the mid part of the season.
We said this, didn't we? We called this like when Norris gifted Piastri the win. Obviously, when I think the pit stop screwed him over, didn't it? And there was on the radio battling. They could have backed Norris, but then equally, Norris kind of threw it away himself. There was races that he should have done so much better in.
I think that Norris has learned from that as well. And we think towards the end of the season, there were some things that Norris did for Piastri. And we were kind of thinking, like, why would you do that? But then it's that, is it because he knows for him to do well, if he wants a championship, he needs to have Piastri on his side? Just like you said, Piastri it to him, but if he wants that chance, he needs to keep. It's that typical keep your friends close and your enemies closer kind of thing.
My only thing with McLaren is, which they're going to make. I mean, it's great. You've got 2 hot prospects and 2 young drivers, and they're unbelievably lucky. But I think it could be their own downfall. You look at every single driver that's won the World Championship over the last God knows how long, 20, 30 years, and you can guarantee that every driver that they had in the seat, you had a definite number 1 and a definite number 2. You can go Michael Schumacher, Barrichello. The only time it ballsed up was Vettel, Webber. That got a bit heated, which almost McLaren could do. But then you had Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Perez.
I mean, Hamilton, Rosberg was one where it kind of went a bit awry because I think Rosberg really put it in that one season, didn't he? But barring that, Rosberg was number 2. Absolutely, always backed him up.
See, this could be Ferrari's downfall this year. As much as I want I want Leclerc to win the Drivers' Championship. And I mean, for me personally, Ferrari 1-2 all season, Leclerc first, that'd be great. I think Ferrari could have this same issue of what McLaren had last season a little bit. If they're both kind of somewhat up there fighting, because Hamilton wants, he's the top Schumacher, doesn't he? But Leclerc wants his first. So.
Yeah.
I
I agree. I think what if if Ferrari have got a strong car, what are they going to do? I mean, Ferrari are renowned for fucking it up with pit stops and strategies, and if they've got 2 drivers absolutely fighting tooth and nail up the top, what the hell does he do? We said this season is the making of Fred Vasseur. Because how he handles them 2.
He's a father figure. Problem with Fred is he's a father figure for Leclerc, and he's known Hamilton for such a long time since the old GP2 days, hasn't he? Yeah. So he's somewhat, on both of their sides, and you are right massively. Yeah, he's going to be the making of Fred Vasseur.
Yeah, because
innit? Because it depends on what Ferrari wants. If you can be sitting there going, I want to be the team to be able to say, I had an 8-time world champion.
Under 7.
And yeah,
Hmm.
but then it's like you said, the risk is you push Leclerc to a side.
Unless Leclerc's got that level of maturity and being told, look, he's got 2 years, Hamilton, that's it. You just be by his side, get him his 8, get the constructors, and then, you gain that experience off him, and then boom, you're away.
Yeah.
And all of Hamilton's gardens will help us out. Unless that's the only one little thing I can think, but as an F1 driver that's been winning and challenging, you're not going to go and take a backseat, are you?
No, but I think we've touched on that a lot last year. Leclerc, however fast he is, he's got a mistake in him. And I think, like you say, if he becomes a sponge for the next 2 years and say, look, over 21, 22, however many races are on the calendar, just look how Hamilton prepares all season. Like, you know what I mean? Get into that. You've got to turn up on point every single race. You can't have a bad race, really. And it's all about consistency with the points of the season. Leclerc, if he learns that, he probably could win 3 or 4 going forward after Hamilton's retired. So, is it a good move, like you say? But as a racer, would Leclerc say, well, I'll sit back for 2 years? I don't think he would, because I think he wants to win now.
Well, his stock will go down, won't it? Especially if the likes of Piastri and, Norris and, see how Kimi Antonelli and Russell do. If they're winning and up there and Leclerc's playing second fiddle, you're going to get pushed down the rankings, won't you?
Oh, definitely. So, right, we'll take a break there. And then in the second half, what we'll do is we'll come back. And like I say, we've each got 2 teams. So we'll just go through a little bit about each team and see what's left. So we'll see you all on the other side, guys.
Hey, you. Yeah, you that's listening right now. Thanks very much for tuning into this episode of Straight to the Apex, the Formula 1 podcast from CookieCast. If you're enjoying this episode, why not like, share and subscribe? Whilst you're there, feel free to check out some of the other podcasts that CookieCast has to offer. If you like football, we've got a football podcast. NFL more your thing? Then the Laces Out podcast is for you. Maybe even a little bit of the wrestling. Just look for the Getting Over podcast on CookieCast. Maybe you want to listen to Andy's Darkest Timeline. It's there too. So, the F1 boys have probably got themselves a drink. It's time to get back to the action.
And we are back. For obviously, you guys listening won't realise that I forgot to press record. So Dean has been going through his first team that I give him. Apologies. It was good practice, though. We all heard what he thought.
Oh, yeah.
So we are back. Thanks to Andy and CookieCast again. So we're doing a bit of a season review of the teams. So what we said was we're going to do constructors order from last to first. So Dean, pick Sauber Ferrari. What's your thoughts?
Absolutely fantastic team. I'll just go completely opposite to what I said. Terrible team, terrible season last year with Bottas and Juan Yuja. Like I said previously, with them there was flogged a dead donkey. Really, I don't think there was ever really, going to perform or do anything. And with Juan Yuja only getting a point or 2 in Qatar, that shows how off the pace there was. How terrible there was at pit stops. I think all in all, it was just a bit of a shambles of a season. I don't really think this season's going to be any better for Hülkenberg and Bortoleto. I think, again, it was just going to be a season of finish the races, try and gain a point here and there if possible, and then focus on 26 for the Audi season, for the Project Audi anyways, and then, go on from there, really. I can't see Matteo Binotto really doing much this year for him either. I mean, I don't really see what he's going to be doing around there.
No, I think it's going to be a bit of a transition year again, isn't it? Like you say, until Audi come in. The other driver, that Bortoleto, he didn't really do a lot in the other categories, did he? I've not heard his name, if I'm brutally honest. Not like, Kimi Antonelli. I've not seen his name at all.
He won F2.
Oh, did he win it? Oh, right, okay, did all right. That's proved how much I
Yeah, if anything, it's the other way around, and nobody had Antonelli really. It was a bit like a Colapinto, a bit hidden away. But yeah.
What did you think to the car? Obviously, same colours as last year. Bit kind of.
Yeah, the livery was never going to change, was it? I mean, it was always going to be green and black. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's not really much to talk about with them because they don't really give you a great deal, do they? It's green and black, the back of the grid. Apart from having a few terrible pit stops and whatnot, I think that's basically their season summed up, really, in a nutshell. So massive. I felt sorry for Bottas because he's got more pace than that. And to be honest with you, Juan Yuja, he's got. I know he's a Ferrari test driver now. He's got he might have a little bit of pace here and there, but I certainly did feel sorry for Bottas last year.
Yeah.
Considering where he's come from, to be all of a sudden so far back.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. No, we'll probably fly through these bottom teams and then talk more about the top ones. So next in the constructors was Williams, which was my team. Changing the driver lineup from 2024, Logan Sargent and Franco Colapinto out. Alex Albon retained his seat. Carlos Sainz joined the team. Obviously, we just said about a massive step down for like Bottas and everything from his mate Days to Sauber, but really big step down for Carlos Sainz. Like, obviously pushed out Ferrari. He's now in a Williams that was 9th out of 10 teams last year, scored 17 points. Pressure's on for Williams and James Vowles this year, I think. They're obviously they've got two strong drivers. Sainz finished 5th in the Drivers' Championship last year, 290 points, 2 race wins. Obviously, Drive to Survive kind of showed you how much he ummed and ahed about actually joining the team. I think he was very in, then out, and then he nearly went to Alpine. Proves that really, I think he was waiting for a Mercedes drive, if I'm brutally honest, which Drive to Survive didn't really show. What's your thoughts on Williams this year? Do you think they're going to be 9th again? Do you think they'll improve? Do you think Sainz will take them up the grid?
I think they'll improve. I really think they'll improve. I think they're going to be a bit of a dark horse.
They'll be the team of the year.
Team of the year?
Team of the year. They will. And I think they'll be best of the rest.
I think they've got to aim for that midfield, top of the midfield, so like 5th. Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially with Aston Martin just going off the pace a little bit right now. I mean, I think they might have a bit of another funny season. And James Vowles, for the last couple of seasons, he's not been after anything immediate, has he? He's always been saying in the near future, this is the long game, this is the long game. And, with two drivers like Albon and Sainz, and James Vowles at the top of the helm doing what he's doing and saying what he's saying, I don't know, I can just see him having I was going to put a little flutter on him getting a podium this year. Just one.
Interesting.
I do hope for Williams this year, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. They're, as Tony likes to say, they're a prestigious team. So everyone wants kind of Williams to do well. RB Honda, Anna, I believe that's you.
That is me. Well, it's quite a bit of a long name, isn't it, really? These are Cash Out Racing Bulls, which I think is a bit tough. But anyway. So obviously Yuki Tsunoda was driving last year, and originally Danny Ricciardo, who then Liam Lawson took over, which I was a little bit sad for Danny Ricciardo because I do like him as a person, but I mean his driving wasn't there, was it really? I think he's just past it now, unfortunately. So I did feel sorry for him, but it was obviously a right move for them. But obviously, this year Isaac Hadjar will be there racing for them. I don't really know much about him, to be honest.
Formula 2 driver again.
I know he's Formula 2, but I don't really watch Formula 2 that much per se, so I don't really know how he's going to do. But I suppose it'll be interesting to see. What else? I think in terms of the team or like the expectations of a driver, I think obviously because Isaac Hadjar's now come from F2, Yuki's going to be that main driver now, so he's going to probably have to pick it up a little bit more. And they'll probably be saying to Isaac, well, just try not to crash and do your best, basically.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So next one is Haas. Is that you, Tony? Here we go.
It's me. MoneyGram Haas F1 team. It was Hulkenberg and Magnussen. Finally, they've left and fucked off, and it's now Esteban Ocon and Oliver Behrman, who is actually 19 but looks about 12. The principal is Ayo Komatsu.
Well done.
That's his name, guys. That's his name.
And that's why you got Haas.
I knew that. I thought I knew that. They did the second most laps in testing. They were very much mid of the race simulation pace. Will they do well this season? I think they will be mid-table again. They won't get 5th. I don't think they'll get 6th. They'll probably get 7th. Esteban is a good driver on his day. Oliver Behrman's pretty good. He looked pretty good last season, but I don't know. I think they're going to be in mid-table. No worse, no better.
Interesting.
The car looks okay. They're just an okay team. There's not really nothing really about them. They're just there.
Just okay. I think they're okay.
They're just okay. Like, again, does anybody know a Haas fan? Is it anyone? If you do, comment. If you do, comment below, please. I'd like to speak to them and understand why they support Haas.
You might support them this year.
I don't fucking support them. Absolutely fucking not.
The only time I would have had a little bit of a fan base would have been for Gunther.
Yeah,
the Gunther fan base.
Still, that's what I mean. People still go on about him more than the actual team. And he's gone. He's gone.
Or Gene.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He's touring the UK still. He's been doing it for 2 years now. What else he got to say? I don't know. Anyway,
Don't slam my fucking door. That's what he's got to say.
Apart from iconic Drive to Survive moments, what? Yeah.
Fucking hell, Gene, as he used to say. Fucking hell. Not in a Cockney accent.
It sounded Cockney there. I don't know what
Gunter Steiner was Cockney. I don't know how that went. Swiftly moving on. Alpine, James.
So, it's an interesting one. So, I mean, last year, I mean, the lineup of having Gasly and Ocon together, I never understood. I mean, fucking, them two hate each other more than bloody. Well, yeah, I'm not even going to go into that comment.
Well done.
I've been behave myself,
you. Yeah.
And yet someone goes and makes little comments about one of my favourite things. That sounded wrong, but
That did sound wrong.
Interesting season for Alpine last year. Obviously, there was the whole kind of Gasly Ocon, what the fuck kind of thing going on. They've kind of solved that problem by getting rid of Ocon. Gasly broke a record last year, being the only driver to complete an entire race season without crashing his car and actually having no costs to the team. So they brought in a new kid called Jack Doohan for this season. And honestly, I don't know how it's going to go. I think Gasly is going to be one to watch. I think he's finally got over, not got over, but beaten his demons, which was Red Bull and what they did to him. Anna will probably touch on it as well when she gets to a Red Bull summary as well, because they do have a history of destroying second drivers, and I think that Daniel Ricciardo was never the same after what Red Bull did to him.
No.
But yeah, I think Gasly will do really well. Doohan's still new, so he's got a lot to learn. He's going to make a few errors, but there is something to build on. But because they brought this new kid in, I don't think they'll do much better. They finished 6th last season. I think they'll probably do the same. Definitely midfield.
Even
Can I
with...
jump in?
Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, What do you think to Colapinto being reserve driver?
I think
I haven't actually thought about it, in all honesty.
I think Jack Doohan, obviously, again, you'll probably know more than us three combined, Dean, about Jack Doohan. But I know his dad from two-wheel motorbike racing. I don't know him. Is the pressure on him straight away? Probably. And maybe that's why they've got him as reserve driver.
Flavio Briatore, didn't he, from what you saw on Drivers of I've wanted Ocon out. Doohan was in the wings at that time, being the reserve driver. He's probably going to come with a couple of quid and a bit of money from his background. Like you said, insurance of Colapinto, but I think Doohan's a bit of a whipping boy for Flavio, or whatever his name is. And then if he doesn't perform in the first 6 races, I could see him being gone straight away and Colapinto in.
Yeah.
Just with his half a season that he had last year, I think he's quite a hot stock now. And I think Doohan's destined to fail, personally. I hope not, because, he deserves an opportunity, but yeah.
Yeah, no.
I've got very similar thoughts to that, but for the other team that I've got to discuss on this.
Okay.
Doohan will crash this weekend.
Doohan will crash.
Yeah.
He's an Aussie, though, so he should know the track.
Earlier, so.
Yeah.
Even more so, he'll crash.
It's rain this weekend, though, isn't it? Like quite a bit high chance of rain.
Oh, is it?
Sunday, 90%.
Meant to be a wet race.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. Don't know if I like that, to be honest. Don't know.
A wet Australia?
Yeah, just a nice hot day race to start off the season.
I like the fact that it's back as race 1. I love that.
Yeah.
It feels right. It feels right that we are talking Australia race 1. 100%.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, as much as Bahrain kind of, it's a great track and stuff, it's the traditionalist prefers Australia, don't they?
Definitely.
Sounds like we all do, don't we? It's just a normal place to start.
Yeah. I can see him itching because next up is Tony with his favourite team, Aston Martin. Strap in, boys and girls.
What fans in screen?
Fernando Alonso led the line last year for the Aston Martin Aramco F1 team. He was the best of the rest, and Aston Martin were the best of the rest. Lance Stroll, however, was absolutely fucking shit, and he had a massive highlight reel of being fucking shit. But his dad owns the team, so he will consistently drive for this team and in F1. And James is one of his biggest fans because he reiterates that he has a super license. Again, if anybody was funded with millions and millions of dollars, I think they would have a high chance of getting a super license as well. But anyway,
can we just say we did touch on the fact that Daddy's got £1 billion. He probably bribed the instructors because the fact that
allegedly
Stroll crashed into the gravel and turned the fucking wrong way. He should never have a super license ever.
Allegedly.
Ever. But anyway, sorry, I digress. Go on, carry on.
So the driver lineup is exactly the same this year. Andy Cowell is the principal, but obviously the big news that we keep talking about is Adrian Newey. Will he have an effect on this car? I don't think so, because testing was fucking horrific. They were worst performing team out there, with the second least laps only to Red Bull, which was a bit of a surprise. And they were the slowest race simulation pace by a good half a second, which is a country mile. I don't know if you read into it and you read around, it's like, Newey's had a little bit of a touch on the car, will be good. But then when you look at the facts like that, it looks like they've checked out and it's all about next season. Unless he's pulled a few things out the bag and they can get things like going in the last stages of the season. But Australia, I believe, is going to be an absolute fucking dive. I think it'll be like Alpine last year, where there's going to be a lot of fucking DNFs 19th, 20th. I predict them to be absolutely nowhere. I think I actually predict them to be at least 9th because Sauber are absolutely dog shit. And that's the only.
I really wish I could clip up now the podcast from a couple of years ago, maybe last year, when was it Aston Martin got a new factory and a new
Oh God, yeah.
and you was oh my God, I'm all in on Aston Martin. Tony pulled out the Aston Martin hat. It was like the factory's there, the tunnel's there. They're going to be the best team ever. And now look at him. This is why I give you Aston Martin for this very reason.
Yeah, but we all know for a fact no one's going to really do much with the car. Granted, Ferrari's done a lot with the car, and that does make them quite a threat. But you've got Adrian Newey. It's like, don't do anything with this year's car. We've got a new formula coming in next season, a new spec. Spend this year sorting that car out, which is writing this one off.
Well, supposedly they didn't use the wind tunnel allowance, for example. They used only a little bit of it, and they kind of waited until he was here. He's only been here for like a short while, so I'm really expecting this car to be shit. And testing proves that. Lance, again, can't be asked. He's injured or fucking sick or whatever the fuck he's doing. He's got all the money in the world, but supposedly, for some reason, he's sick all the time. I wonder why. Probably, I don't know. How unfortunate. His system must be, I don't know, from flying all over the place. Anyway, no, they're going to do shit. They might do better in the back end of the season. They might be the most improved team, I think. They'll be shit really crap, and then they'll get okay. But like Mark says, they'll it's all about next season where they'll come strong again. Definitely.
The only thing with Aston Martin, what I don't get is 2023. There was a right pain in the ass for Ferrari when Alonso got a few podiums, and there was up there, and I thought, bloody hell, you know, probably the new factory thing, and a few other bits might crack, pulling a few things out as well, and everything. And the drop off from Aston Martin is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal from, being, right in the mix early 23 to mid-season. They were just going further and further back.
I think that was the Stroll money that had come in, and they kind of brought a lot of people from different teams. And they didn't... I'm not going to... It's not... They borrowed, shall we say. Not copied, maybe copied a few ideas, and it paid off massively at the start of the season. They got a jump massively, and then they couldn't really develop it. Then they
thought green Red Bull, wasn't it? They basically copied the Red Bull design, and then they went, "Great, now make it faster." I don't know how to. Like it just looks like the Red Bull. I think they started. It looked like there was going to be the next big team, and they just did nothing.
But when Max Verstappen comes next year, we will be unstoppable. We will be like a massive force. Jaguar will be absolutely fucking in the shit bin, destroyed. And the British prestige of cars, Aston Martin, they'll bring out more cars, more sexy van, all the cars, road cars you can imagine, the sexiest ones ever. Everyone will want one. It'll be up there, and the F1 team will be fucking pride place at the top of the fucking podium every single week. And Mark will fucking eat his Ferrari hat live on the podcast.
So will it? Because you've already said Amazon's just gone and bought all the rights to 007 and everything else like that. So they won't want Aston Martins because he'll be driving a fucking Prius.
That is true.
Yeah.
Well, that depends who the next Bond is.
Yeah.
And that we could talk for the next half an hour about that, but we're not going to.
So, next, Mercedes. James.
The ship.
No. What?
No. It's difficult. They've not been... There has been nothing since the new formula came in a couple of years back. There's been no consistency. That first season we kept seeing and was like, they've made an improvement. Wow, this looks promising. Mercedes are back, and then they've turned back to crap again. And it's just kind of carried on every year. Last year it got a bit better. They sorted out the porpoising and stuff like that. Russell had a couple of good races. Hamilton finally got a win again at Silverstone after something like 900 odd days or whatever it was. But obviously Hamilton dropped the bombshell right at the start of the season going, yeah, I'm off. See you later, guys. Toodles. And then it was just very awkward the entire season because we all knew for a fact it'd be that kind of, they're not going to do anything for Hamilton now. He is not going to be their priority. They're not going to want to focus on him or improve his car or anything. It's all going to be on Russell, and it really was. So again, you know, the Toto says, "Oh yeah, we had this guy from the start." I really don't think he did. I think I said it to Charlie the night. I think he was holding out for signs. I genuinely do think he was holding out for getting signs, but he had signs in one hand and Max in another, and he just took too fucking long. Signs then had gone to Williams, and he's like, "So yeah, we've always looking for this. We've always had this boy in time. Blah 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 blah." And it's like, so it's Antonelli. And by the way, first thing he says to him when he meets him on fucking Drive to Survive, "How's school?" Great.
Yeah, not great.
I think Russell will do all right. I think he'll have a couple of wins in him again. Antonelli, I think he will look promising at the start. But touching back on what Dean said earlier about Doohan, I think he'll only last a little bit, and I would say by halfway through the season, Bottas will be driving that car.
Yeah, I agree with that one, mate. Yeah, I've said this a couple of weeks ago as well. I hope it happens, but yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
it's very strange. I mean, I love Bottas, I really do, and he really is excited to be back. I find it very strange. I can see him driving one race at some point.
With the Antonelli thing for me, it's sorry, mate, to jump in, but he tested in Monza, didn't he, last season, and absolutely fluffed his lines. You know, I know he's a little bit older, and a little bit wiser. You know, maybe had a bit more practice and stuff, but I don't know. He's meant to be promising and good, but can he handle the pressure of Mercedes and the pressure of Toyota? And if Russell ain't performing, because he can be a bit up and down and stuff every now and then with mistakes, you know, Antonelli's really going to have to be on it straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they could turn into. I mean, not that Mercedes will win every race, but they could turn into last year's Red Bull. And if Russell's getting points, Antonelli's not getting any, they're going to be nowhere in constructors, which is no good for Mercedes at all. They were fourth this year.
I've got them pretty much where they were last year, and I've just got them as the top of the mid-table.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Fair.
But I definitely agree with the Bottas thing, mate. Really do definitely agree with that. Halfway through the season, jumping in.
Interesting. Red Bull, Anna, I believe that's you. You've come dressed for the occasion.
Of course, always. So obviously last year was obviously Max is still driving this year. And then obviously it was Perez, who I really, really love Perez. I just think he's so cute. But yeah, let's face it, he didn't do us very well, did he? Let's say he kind of did not help us with the constructors whatsoever. So he was definitely needed to go. And I'm quite surprised he actually lasted as long as he did. I did think that he was going to go halfway through the season last year, but they kept him on, which I was very surprised about. But hey, and this year, obviously, Liam Lawson's taken his place, which I do think is quite funny considering they really don't like each other. They've had a bit of a tussle on track, haven't they?
Doesn't like anyone.
I think it'll be interesting to see what Liam Lawson's like. Obviously, on Drive to Survive, he comes across that he doesn't really care and he's there to be there on track. He's not there to make friends. So I think that'll be quite interesting, especially because Max is quite fiery as well. But I do think you maybe have to be like that with Red Bull because, as you said before, they don't take no punches, do they? If you're not very good, they quite happy
fair.
to get rid of you as soon as they can
definitely.
and destroy you in the process. Obviously, team principal is still Christian Horner. I think kind of for the expectations for the team, obviously try and get Max to get 5th World Championship again, do better in constructors this year, and Liam Lawson hopefully a big part of that. And obviously no more kind of scandal around Christian Horner, really, because that might just finally turn the team apart.
Yeah, his little wiener.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Josh will not have another season with Max in a team of turmoil, will he? At all?
No.
I think he was very
Wasn't he
close.
speaking to Berta
Hmm?
in drafts as well, wasn't
Yeah, and apparently they've met again, haven't they, in the off season? So that's a bit. Watch this space.
he? Mm.
Moving on to Ferrari, Dean.
One slightly noticeable driver change. Not many people have heard of this guy that's turned up. I feel like we've gone backwards a little bit in time. But yeah, we've lost signs, unfortunately, considering he had the season of his life and actually showed that he did have the potential to become a race winner and be a race winner and be consistent as well. But I mean, you could tell he was clearly driving for his career and driving for a seat somewhere else. And I guess no matter what, even if he had the season of his life the season before, the moment Hamilton comes knocking, then I guess unfortunately he was always going to be a goner. But this season Leclerc, Hamilton, like we briefly touched on earlier, he's going to go one or two ways. We might succeed and do really well, or we might implode and do full Ferrari and just absolutely balls it here and there. But I will remain hopeful that they'll be good teammates, and Fred Vissier, our team principal, will do the right thing at the right time. Basically, whoever that may be. As much as I want Leclerc to win, I want the team to win as well. And if Hamilton wins that, it kills me to say it really, because I don't want him to top Schumacher. But if he does, 0.1% of me be rather happy, and the rest of me be rather perturbed. But that is what it is.
Yeah.
I think what else to touch base on, really. Expectations this year. I want constructors and drivers. I want a full clean sweep. All the eggs in one basket this year, and go for it. And fingers crossed it happens.
Yeah, definitely. So that leaves me with McLaren. No change to driver lineup. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Team principal still Andrea Stella, with Zach Brown kind of being the loud American in the background, doing probably not a lot, but you hear him more than anybody else. Expectations, I think Lando Norris is the favourite for the title this year. Not sure I agree with that, but he's currently the favourite. That's a lot of pressure on him. Obviously, Drive to Survive kind of made a big deal out of him not winning. Then he got his first win in kind of lucky circumstances. But as we touched on earlier, Oscar Piastri is going to want to mount his own title challenge. So how they handle that, I do not know. I think the expectations of the team will be to win another Constructors and, like you said, Dean, probably go all in and get a Drivers' Championship as well. If they can do it, not sure. Because, I mean, I think looking at pre-season testing, they've got the strongest car. They might pull a Red Bull and 5 or 6 races, first ones, win it, and then everyone else catch up. Can't see that. McLaren never do that, do they? So it's going to be very, very interesting.
I think with like Lando Norris, I just think, especially on Drive to Survive, when it looked back, and was it the Brazilian Grand Prix where it rained?
Yeah.
And he obviously was in front, and Max was right back on the 17th. But over the radio, all he was doing was, "Where's Max? Where's Max? Where's Max?" And his head was just completely gone. He wasn't even focusing on his own race. All he could think about was, "Where's Max and where is he in comparison to me?" And I think if you're thinking like that, you're not going to win likely, because you're too busy focusing on him and not yourself.
Yeah, And that's what Max is good at. Max is not there to win friends. Like, I mean, George Russell incident, obviously, that's going to maybe bubble up again this year. But if you're already thinking about one driver, like you say, well, look what happened in Brazil. So you're right that I just don't think he's got it in him to win a championship. I don't think he's that guy over all them races from March to November, December time to win a title. I just can't see it.
Exactly what Will Buxton said, won it on Drive to Survive. He said the thing is with Max, he has a fuck you mentality.
Yeah, it does.
Most champions have that, but Lando doesn't.
No.
He's getting it, and I think I kind of said the same kind of thing last season as well. He is getting it. He's getting there, but he needs to hurry up and get to that fuck you all.
Yeah,
He
definitely.
reminds me of a child still, Norris. Reminds me of a kid. I know what it is, a bit giddy, a bit childlike, a bit, hasn't got that fuck you mentality, hasn't got that seriousness. He tries to be serious, but when he's serious, his dummy's on the floor and he's just having a temper tantrum.
Yeah, and you can't take him seriously.
I think he'll be a race winner. He'll win many races. I don't think he'll be a world champion.
No, definitely not. So normally we do predictions for the first race. So we've got about 3 minutes left. I'm just going to literally reel mine off. So Tony, you've got to be quick with them.
Can you want to go first? I've gone.
No, I'm going first. I'm the leader. I'm going first.
No,
First.
I am going for a Piastri win, Hamilton second, and Norris third.
Okay, I'm going Norris to win, Piastri second, Russell third. Lando will win the World Championship. Lewis Hamilton will be a big disappointment.
Okay, James.
Leclerc will outscore him.
What do you say, James?
Let's save the bombshell. We discussed like bombshell predictions, like we all one each. We'll save that for next episode.
Okay.
I've got a McLaren 1-2, and I've been battling which way it's going to go. But I've got Norris for the win, Piastri second, and Max third.
Full-time world champion.
I'm going to throw it to you two. Quickly, off the top of your head, your top three. Got James write it down. They'll get a bonus point if they get it right.
First race. So I'm going to go. Norris will get pole position qualifying. He'll balls it up off the start. Leclerc first. Verstappen second. Piastri third.
Nice.
Good pick.
Annette?
I go Verstappen first, Piastri second, Hamilton third.
Interesting.
Do I get a bonus point for Norris scuffing it off the start like always, or is that just too predictable?
I mean, it's very predictable, but you can have 10 bonus points if that happens. It's probably going to happen.
Out of the race, they'll shout, and it's lights out, and away they go.
Well, I can't believe we fit that in. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Thanks especially to Anna and Dean for joining us as a special guest this week. Thank you to James for being on his best behaviour. Thank you for Tony not being late and turning up. And he didn't eat and he didn't drink. An absolute miracle. So you guys can come again because this was the best version of Tony. No, I know. We've scared him off now. Thanks to Andy. Thanks to Cookie Cast. Race weekend, guys. Race on Sunday. Enjoy. We'll speak soon.
Enjoy it. Cheers, guys.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there you go. What do you think of that? Another one done. Another one gone. Season's on its way now. Great times. Good times all round. Thank you to the guys for bringing you, lovely people, this podcast. And thank you to their special guests. That's right. Special guests. Formula One. What more could you possibly want? Before you go, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. And check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button. And that way you can get in touch with us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Until next time, I'm going to say bye. And I'll see you then.
You've just listened to another episode of Cookie Cast. Thanks for listening.